And welcome to another book club episode. I'm joined again by my friend Amelia Beckerman, who is also an aspiring writer, a part of my writing group, and works in publishing. Amelia, thank you for being here.
Of course. Yeah. I've always been a reader. I think it was beat into me as a child. There was
Mm.
no option but to be a reader in my house. Um, so I've always read. Obviously, like that relationship has changed and there's been times in my life where I've read less, but it's always been a huge part of me. I was such a nerd. I was a
Mm.
get caught in reading. Get caught in reading is the phrase. Get caught
Yeah.
in class reading kind of kid. Now, obviously, like working in the industry, I read a lot of stuff for
Mm.
my job, which changes how I read it. But I've I've always done it.
Mm. Yeah. Has your taste in reading changed because of your job and because you're reading so much for your job? Are you more selective in whatever fashion for like the books you read personally?
Yeah, I think sometimes I'm not selective at all. Like if someone tells me like, "Oh, read this," I'm really willing to like kind of go full force. My favorite
Mhm.
thing is to not know anything about a book before I read it.
Oh, okay.
I find that so satisfying. If I've already decided to read it, if I heard something, if someone handed it to me, I won't read a single blurb. I won't read the back. I just like will go full force into it. And I think that can be really fun. Sometimes I've been shook and surprised, but. Yeah, I think it definitely, I don't really read what I work on at work necessarily,
Okay.
though sometimes it like totally aligns with my taste, but
Yeah.
I'd say a lot of the books I read in my personal time in life are really different than the kinds of books I work on, which is really nice to have kind of a
Yeah.
difference. Um,
Yeah, you wouldn't normally pick them up then in your day to day. So that's kind of
yeah.
perfect.
But sometimes like I've read something at work that has like changed, like, oh my God, I'm gonna read a ton of this now.
Yeah.
Um, so it really depends on, but
Okay.
in general, if I finish something I started, even like there's obviously books that
Okay.
take me longer than other books. And if I'm really into it, I finish it really fast. And if I'm not, it might take a while, but generally I go full force.
Okay. I mean, you must be pretty good at like picking books then that you would like to read.
Yeah, but I could hate read something very easily. And I am a certified hater. That's actually like a huge part of
Mm.
my identity. It's not something I like about myself, but it is who I am. And I do think that I have to have the entire story to hate it. Like I have to have all the knowledge to
Yes.
have a full opinion, or else someone's gonna be like, "Well, you didn't finish it. It got really good." And I can tell them, "No, it didn't," and that's okay. Um, but I have to be fully informed.
There.
I can get to the end of something just on sheer dispassion.
Yeah. No, but I get that. If you have all the information, then you can form a full opinion. So that
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
And I think almost every story, I can't think the last time I read a book where I was like, there was nothing here. There was nothing
Yeah.
like, even if I think the writing is bad, maybe that was sacrificed for a very silly plot that was still fun and engaging. The same way, like, I
Mm.
love a bad movie. Sometimes, like, a bad book can be really fun.
Yeah. Okay, speaking of, is the book always better than the movie?
No, of course not. I think
Okay.
sometimes, I mean, probably mostly books and movies have different ways of storytelling, but occasionally someone freaking nails a movie. I think, like, I've seen movies where I've said, wow, that book was fine and that movie is wonderful. Um, and sometimes they're exactly equally matched, and that's so impressive.
Yeah. Yeah. And excuse me. What is a book you would love to read again for the very first time?
Oh, My Brilliant Friend. This is like the most basic Brooklyn, like every girl in Brooklyn's like Eleanor Ferrante. God, that book blew me away, and
Mm.
it's it's the perfect combination that I wish someday to achieve in my own writing, which is like it's
Mm.
literary and it's propulsive. Like
Mm.
I wanted to turn the page so badly, which is so impressive because it is just like a story of a friendship in 19 like 50s Italy, but it is so propulsive still, and there's so
Mm,
many like engaging. It's also so smart. Like there's so much about politics.
yeah.
There's so much about a world I know nothing about. And wow, like I remember picking it up. I was on vacation and I had brought it because so many people were like, this is the book. And sometimes people say that to you and it's not the case for you. And so I remember picking it up and being like, I don't know, historical fiction is not always my
Yeah.
vibe. Um, and I remember just like reading it. I was on the plane, like I have to get to the end, and I like got home off the plane and was like, I have to keep going. I just think they're so, and it's four novels. I had to go out and buy the next three. Like
Wow.
it's
I've never read it. That's next on my
I
list then.
I recommend it to everyone and also everyone else's recommend. It's like such an unimpressive
Yeah.
take, but I think it's just so good.
Okay. What's another book that everybody recommends that you haven't read yet?
That's a great question. I'm trying to think of like there's obviously there's like books where people are like, "Oh my God, you should read this." And sometimes I know right away like I'm not going to
Hmm.
ever. Um there's like some chunky like book series that I'm
Mm,
like one day I'll go into there. Um
yeah.
my family loves The Name of the Wind, if you know that series.
Mm,
And it's like it's kind of like boy fantasy, not to gender fantasy,
okay.
but I do find that sometimes. But
Uh-huh.
I've always been like, I think I would love to read. I call some things, this is like terrible, but I call them like my car crash like contingencies. If I was in a car crash, which is also so unlikely, how often am I in a car? If I was in a
Yeah.
car crash and my legs were broken and I just like needed something, there's like certain like things I'm like, I'm not visiting that right now. I don't really have the time for that. But if I was in a car
Mm,
crash, I would do that. I would watch all of the
okay.
show. I would read all of this series. I think I would like reread Game of Thrones. I read some of them
Mm,
when I was like really quite young, much too young to be reading Game of Thrones. Um, but if I was in a car crash, I would commit
yeah.
myself to them.
Okay. Are you
Um,
currently reading? Yeah.
I'm reading Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. Norrell, is that how you say
Okay.
it? It's Susanna Clark's novel from like 2004 or something. I read Piranesi, and if that is not how you say it, sorry to everyone. I loved that book. I thought it was so
Yeah.
amazing, and she's just such an imaginative writer. Uh,
Okay.
this book is 1,000 pages. I have a mass market paperback. It's like it's a chunker. It I carry that
Are
around.
you bringing it? Oh my God.
Yeah,
You're
I
carrying
bring
it
it
around with
around.
you?
I'm like, Jesus
Okay.
Christ sometimes. So it's so great. It's so dense though that sometimes I'm
Hmm.
like, I can do a chapter of that and then
Yeah.
I'll read a whole other book. Like I
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
will completely read something else. But so great. I'm really enjoying
Yeah.
it.
Okay.